right now.
My name is Faith Birnbach, and this is my demonstrator speech. I'm going to show you the process of making an E-wrap stitch beanie. There are many different stitches in making your own beanies, but the easiest, in my opinion, is the E-wrap stitch. And today I'm going to show you how it's done. There are just 15 simple steps in the process of making an E-wrap stitch beanie, and I'm going to show you how to do each and every one. The E-wrap stitch beanie is very easy to complete, and is probably one of the easiest do-it-yourself projects out there. Let me show you how it's done. To start your beanie, you need your materials. And all you need is 5 things. Your 36 peg loom, which is recommended for beanies for teenagers and adults. There are other sizes for different size beanies. Yarn, pair of scissors, your sewing needle, and loom hook. And you can get kits, loom kits, at Walmart and Hobby Lobby. Basically any craft store you can get one. Now that we've reviewed the necessary materials to make a E-wrap stitch beanie, let me cover the necessary steps in this process. So your first step is to make a slip knot. So what I do is I wrap my yarn around my finger like this twice, and then you loop the second loop over the first loop, and then the first loop over the second loop. Tighten it, and there is your slip knot. And then you take your slip knot, place it on this peg with this little thing here, and that is where you start each row. And then you tighten. It around, put the tail under the loom like so it doesn't get in your way. And then now you start making your cast on round. So to start doing it, you wrap the yarn around each peg to where you have 2 loops, one over the other, like so. And then you do this all the way around until you get to this peg. So once you have the 2 loops, you take your hook and loop the bottom loop over the top loop, and then tighten it. And you repeat this process until you get to the last loop, like I said. 2 loops, up and over.
Okay.
And then once you get to the last peg that you first began with your slip knot, you loop it once over the slip knot, and you put the slip knot over the peg. You might have to loosen it, you might not. I would recommend on loosening it a little bit. Just so that you can get it over. And that is your cast on round. So once your cast on round is done, you can start knitting the rest of your rows. To do this, all you have to do is loop your yarn around each peg once over the bottom row and just move the bottom row over the top. For the first row it might take a little force, but I would recommend not using too much force because you don't want to break your yarn and then you would have to start all over. I learned that the hard way.
Okay.
So this is your brim, and I did 12 rows on mine, just for demonstration purposes, but I usually do at least 25 rounds, but like I said earlier, it usually depends on how big you want it. So, once you get your brim done, you take the bottom of it, and I just grab my tail just so that I know. Where is it? And then you flip it over to the pegs and loop each bottom loop over each peg. And this will be the final step on your brim. I'm doing this too, but I'm just using my fingers. And then once you get close to the first peg, you take your tail and put it inside the flap before putting the last few loops over the pegs. And that is how you do your brim. And to finish it, take your hook, and like the how you do your rows, you loop your bottom loop over the top loop to tighten it. And it might take a little force on it because it's just I don't know how to explain it, but
A lot of yarn.
yeah, what my dad said. It's kind of hard getting over it sometimes, so. But I wouldn't use very much force. It really depends on how thick the yarn you use is. So, if you use the thick yarn, then it's probably not going to break. But I would just be careful anyway.